So we finally got NHL 24 and Connor Bedard. He's officially ready to jump into the NHL, an 83 overall, one of the highest overalls in the Chicago Blackhawks already. Like, this team is cooked. Respectfully, like, this defense, it ain't it. The goaltending situation, we already know what that's looking like. This ain't it either. 82 overall Peter Mrazek, definitely not going to be the future for this team. But I'm going to take over as the Chicago Blackhawks GM. I'm going to win them a Stanley Cup, but more importantly, I'm going to get Connor Bedard a Stanley Cup. And you know what? Since it's the first NHL game where Connor Bedard's a part of an NHL team, let's have a bit of a challenge here. 8,300 likes and I'll buy a Connor Bedard jersey. The only issue with this is jerseys are very expensive and I don't really want to pay for a jersey. So roll the sponsor. I want to give a massive shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. SeatGeek is the best ticketing app out there for getting tickets for your favorite events. The NHL season's around the corner and you definitely want to be using SeatGeek to buy your tickets. They give every single ticket a rating so you know whether you're getting a good or a bad deal. On top of SeatGeek having tickets for thousands of events, if you use code SOTI at checkout, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. And once again, I want to give a shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. So for year number one, I'm not going to do too much. I'm just going to simulate up to the trade deadline and then I'm going to trade everyone who's on an expiring contract. So Tyler Johnson, he's gone. Corey Perry, he'll be gone. Nick Foligno, he's gone. I'm just going to be ditching players and we're picking up assets. So we're at the trade deadline here, of course. The Chicago Blackhawks, they absolutely suck. So Tyler Johnson at 50% retained, Kurashev and a third round pick over to the Boston Bruins for Swayman. I think he's going to be our future goaltender, our Stanley Cup winning goaltender. I can tell you that for a fact. And I'm guessing that's probably going to be the only move we do, because who's going to take a 36-year-old Nick Foligno at $4 million a year? And same with Corey Perry. He's getting $4 million as well. I don't see any team taking these guys, even at 50% retained. So after the trade deadline, I'm looking at some extensions to give out here, and Lucas Reichel, 4 years at $3.4 million, absolute steal for us, especially if you develop into like an 87 overall. Paying an 87 overall $4.4 million, I'm taking that deal any day of the week. Jeremy Swayman, on the other hand, you're looking for quite a bit for an 86 overall, like 6 point some million. I'll do 6.4 for 3 years and we'll see how you perform. If you don't perform, I'll trade you, but if you do perform, this might not be the worst deal in the world. So this is the very first simulation I've done for NHL 24. St. Louis first in the Central Division, 44, 31 and 7. Nah, things are just out of hand already. Chicago, 8th in the Central Division, no surprise about that. 24, 43 and 11, probably dead last in the entire league. I can't see anyone being worse than us. Vancouver first. That is very interesting. Pittsburgh second. Okay, things are really out of hand here. St. Louis with 8th in the entire league. San Jose 9th. The San Jose Sharks 9th in the entire league. Alright, things aren't making sense here. Toronto's 14th in the entire league. That's kind of crazy. Buffalo missing the playoffs. Tampa missing the playoffs. Maybe Tampa without Vasilevsky. That's a possibility. Colorado 19th, but Edmonton missing the playoffs. Dallas missing the playoffs. Okay, this simulation is not it. And then LA, third last in the entire league. They're not going to be that bad. But the Chicago Blackhawks dead last. That's valid. I think this is the only realistic part about the simulation so far. But you know what's more absurd than the standings? The fact that the Detroit Red Wings have more subs than me. So we should change that right now, and you should subscribe to the channel. So Connor Bedard is going to have himself an incredible rookie season, 39 goals, 41 helpers, 80 assists. But the only issue I have is Connor Bedard entered the year as at 83 overall, right? He's up to a 91 now. 91 I just think is a bit OD. Like, improving 8 overalls over one season just kind of seems a bit outrageous to me. I don't know why. Like, McDavid better be a 99 if I go and look at his attributes now. Connor McDavid, what'd you do? 102 points this season. He's up to a 98, so he actually might hit a 99 overall. Okay, I think that's pretty fair. I don't know how I feel about Connor Bedard jumping 8 overalls in the year 1 simulation. Like, after the offseason, if he's up to a 91, fair. But I'm expecting after the offseason, he's going to be a 94 overall. That just seems really high to me. Kucherov's going to be leading the league, 116 points. McKinnon, 106. Adam Fox, 101 points. Shout out to him. Johnny Hockey, 98 points. Patty Kane, 97 on the Vegas Golden Knights. Alright, that's pretty interesting. And then, of course, goaltenders. We got Thatcher Demko, 43 wins. Ville Husso, 41. Tristan Jarry, 39. I'm not going to go over the stats every single year, but for year number 1, I wanted to. The first simulation of NHL 24. Had to see what it's looking like. Tristan Jarry, 9 shutouts. I don't know about that one. But the real question is, who's going to be winning the Stanley Cup this season? The Winnipeg Jets. I honestly don't see Mark Scheifele or Connor Hellebuyck finishing the season with the Winnipeg Jets. But the fact that NHL 24 has them winning the Stanley Cup, not too sure about that. Then again, we could use the logic that happened in NHL 23. In my very first simulation of NHL 23, the Chicago Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup. So Winnipeg, congrats on the first overall pick. So I guess that's something. Montreal's going to jump from 4 to 1. Philly's going to jump from 9 to 2 with Florida's pick, and we're going to drop to 3. Not the greatest start here. So with my third overall pick, I'm going to go with Nasir Stafford, a 76 overall, medium elite potential. He's a two-way defender. He'll play on the right side. I mean, I think that's a great pickup for us. We also have the 14th overall pick in this upcoming draft, so we're going to be taking Adam Jiricek. I believe this is David Jiricek's brother. I have no clue if it is. I'm just assuming it is. Doesn't have any X factors, but he's a 57 overall, top 4 potential. He could develop into something for us. He also could be a good trade piece in the future. So right now I'm cooking up a deal for William Eklund. I'm going to offer this package over. I'm like 99% sure they're going to say yes. That's exactly what they're saying. We picked up a nice young prospect, and with those picks, there wasn't really anything I was interested in. So here's the one thing I'm really curious about. In NHL 23, the trade logic for 5th and 6th round picks made no sense. Did they fix it for NHL 24? I think they sorta did. Not really though. I'm seeing a lot of 3rd round picks here. Yeah. They didn't fix the trade logic whatsoever. So I can continue to trade 5th and 6th round picks for 3rd round picks. I'm still going to keep abusing that system. Also, I saw Juuso-Pekka Luukkonen here in one of these deals. Where was he? I'm making this deal. We got our backup goaltender now. And then I'll just trade this 3rd round pick for a future 3rd or something. There we go. Future 3rd round pick. I like all the moves we made here. So we're going to start off with Juuso-Pekka Luukkonen here. I'll give him 4 years at $2 million to be our backup. I mean, I feel like that's a steal of a deal. So I'm not going to be showing every extension I give, but I'm definitely not giving Taylor Radish $6.3 million per year for 1 year. That's not happening. I'll give you a qualifying offer though. On top of that, I'm giving Stafford his entry level deal. He'll probably crack the roster for next season more than likely. So I think this is an absolute steal for us. We get to ditch Taylor Radish because I'm not giving him $6.3 million or whatever he wanted. We get Tomasino, who's on an incredible deal, 6 years at $4 million. And he's already what, an 83 overall, 84 overall. We'll put him on the top line with Connor Bedard as the primary playmaker there. He'll develop into like an 87, 88. So for $4 million, steal of a deal. Hand him over. I'm happy with that move. Our next move is going to have us picking up a left defenseman and Mikey Anderson, 7 years at basically $4 million, 84 overall. No, we're just getting the best contracts in the NHL at this point. If these guys develop, and even if they don't develop, an 84 overall for $4 million is not even that bad. And they're all young players. Keep giving us all these fantastic contracts. I'll take them. So I'm doing everything in my power to get this deal done. A first, Taylor Hall in 2 seconds for Kent Johnson and Jordan Dumas. I think it's Dumas. I'm probably saying it wrong. It doesn't matter. If we can get this deal done, that's a massive steal for us. They're going to say no. I'll throw in a 3rd rounder as well. Chicago's 3rd rounder for the upcoming draft. Why not? They're saying no to that. I think we have 1 more second, so we can do 3 seconds here. I think 3 seconds is a bit OD, but you know what? 4 years at 4.8 for Kent Johnson. I think it's worth it. We gave up quite a bit there, but we also have a ton of cap space now. So you know what? I think that deal will be worth it in the long run. So originally Sam Reinhart was asking for like 8.7 million. No one was willing to give him that. He's dropped his asking price down to 6.7. I'll do 7.1. Put him on the first line with Bedard. These two guys would be a deadly combination. So right now, no one's willing to pick up Ryan Hartman. So I'll give him 1 year at 4.2 million. And then if I have to, I'll trade him at the trade deadline, 50% retain, and we'll get a handful of assets for him. I'm also going to do the same thing with Kevin LeBlanc, 1 year, 3.9 million. So the team's in a much better spot than they were last season. Of course, Connor Bedard's leading the first forward line with Kent Johnson and Sam Reinhart. Then you got Jordan, Eklund, and Lucas Reichel in the second. The bottom 6 looks absolutely fantastic. Of course, we're going to improve the 4th line as things go on. But right now, I'm liking the core we're building. Defensively, the top 4 looks great because Stafford's eventually going to develop. The 3rd line, we'll work on that in the future. But right now, I like it. And of course, the goaltending situation, Jeremy Swayman, I think you're going to be the guy for us in 86 overall. Juuso-Pekka Luukkonen in 82 as the backup. I think that's a great tandem to run with. So currently things are looking pretty good for the Chicago Blackhawks, sitting in a wildcard spot, 4th in the Central Division, 33, 24, and 5. I don't think there's any point making a Stanley Cup push this season, so let's make a few moves and get this team better for next year. So I'm looking at making this deal with Calgary, Ryan Hartman, 2 third-round picks and a 4th for Coronado and Pelche. I think it would help our bottom 6 a lot, so we're going to offer that over. They're saying yes immediately. That's a good deal for us. So our final move is going to be picking up Lundqvist from the Dallas Stars, but I'm also going to be taking Suter back just so we can make the contracts work. Not really giving up too much here. They're going to say no to this. I'll throw in a 6th rounder. We basically have no picks for the upcoming draft and no picks for next season, but that doesn't matter. We're building a pretty solid team here, and I'm happy with how we're looking. So even after making all those moves at the trade deadline, Chicago's going to finish the season out strong, 9th in the entire league, 44, 32, and 6, averaging 3 goals a game. I just want to emphasize we averaged 3 goals a game here, because what Connor Bedard did is incredibly funny. Bro picked up 100 points. 100 points exactly, but 76 of them were goals. In his second season in the league, he picked up 76 goals. He's up to a 94 overall. Now, I'm all for players reaching their full potential and progressing throughout NHL 24, but this seems really excessive for year number 2. Hey, this is stick on the ice in the editing process. I just thought I'd mention, scoring frequency is on medium. 76 goals on medium frequency. I just feel like players are progressing way too fast. Like Blood was an 83 overall to start his career, and now he's up to a 94. That just seems really fast for me. Goaltenders, Jeremy Swayman, a pretty decent year, 36 wins, a 910 to 296, 1 shutout, not too bad. Pekka Luukkonen, I guess you held it down as the backup, I can't complain. And with us making the postseason, we got a bit of extra hockey here, and we're going to be taking on the Winnipeg Jets in the first round. So here we are heading into game 7. Currently the series is tied 3-3. We've been going back and forth the entire way. Honestly, I was expecting this team to get swept, but if we can go on a bit of a run here, I'm down for it. So for game 7, we're going to be going period by period here. Chicago's going to be picking up the first goal of the game, and in the second, we're picking up another 2, but Winnipeg's going to be responding. We got a 1-goal game entering the third period, and then Winnipeg's offense is exploding. They're picking up 4 goals, and we're falling in the first round. But considering we made the playoffs in year number 2, I'll take that as a win. And with this entire team developing, we'll be back next season for sure. So although we lost to the Winnipeg Jets in 7 games, of all the teams that Winnipeg went against, we put up the biggest fight. And Winnipeg's taking home back-to-back Stanley Cups now. 2 in a row, huh? Yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. So after absolutely dominating the regular season, Connor Bedard's completely fallen apart in the playoffs. 5 points in 7 games, 2 goals, 3 assists. I mean, these aren't bad numbers. But when you pick up 76 goals, I'm expecting a bit more. Also, shout out to Seth Jones, who's picking up 7 points in 7 games. And Eklund as well, both of them averaging a point a game. I have no complaints there. So here's the deal I'm looking at right now. The 22nd overall pick in Adam Jiricek over to the Montreal Canadiens for Guhle, Hyman, and Newhook. It'll help our bottom 6 a lot. We get the last defenseman that we need. I'm going to send that over. They're saying yes immediately. That's a massive deal for us. And we also still have a ton of cap space to work with. We got like 30 million. So Guhle, I'm willing to do 3 years at 4 million. I think that's pretty reasonable for what you're going to be doing on this team. Coronado, 4 years at 1 million. Steal of a deal for us. We're getting another great deal here. Hyman, 3 years at 1.2 million. He'll be a good 4th line guy for us. I think that's a great contract. Now this is when things get very interesting. We have 30 million to work with in cap space, so we have a ton. We have to offer Connor Bedard a contract extension for next season. What a deal. Absolute beauty here. 9.8 million. We'll get this deal done for the next 7 years. He's a 96 overall. Connor Bedard, you're a stud. Shout out to that legend. William Eklund, what are you looking for? 7 million. Okay, that's a bit much. I don't know if I'm feeling 7 million. We're going to hold out on you. But Connor Bedard, an absolutely fantastic contract. And Pelche, this is a fantastic contract as well. I'll do 2.4 million here for 3 years. You're a great bottom 6 piece for us. You know what? We got 31 million to work with. Patrick Kane, 9.8 million. He's back. Patty Kane on a 1-year deal. Might play alongside Connor Bedard. Who knows? I'll sign a bunch of these guys to 1-year deals. Like, I don't care. Nick Backstrom, yeah, 86 overall. Why not on a 1-year deal? We'll do 4.7 million just to make sure he joins the team. That's going to help our bottom 6. He'll probably play in the top 6. Who knows? That's a fantastic deal for an older guy. And honestly, Brad Marchand, if we can get you down to wanting only 1 year, I'll throw you a bag. Okay, Patrick Kane, I hate you with a passion. You know where this man just went? He decided, nah, I don't want the bag that Chicago offered me. I'm gonna go join the Winnipeg Jets. What a snake. $10 million is wild, I'm not gonna lie, for an 89 overall. But Winnipeg really wanted this man. They're trying to build a super team here. We're not gonna allow that to happen. Brad Marchand, welcome to the team for 13 million. Now, 13 million would be wild, but I'll do 1 year at like 10 million for Brad Marchand. If they're going to offer Patrick Kane 10 million, I'll get Brad Marchand 10 million. He's a 92 overall, 3 overalls higher. Yeah, this is not a smart deal, but you know what? We'll do it. Jonathan Toews, the old captain of the team. He's an 88 overall. No clue how he's an 88 overall. Here's 7.5 million. We're bringing the old core back. So here we go with an all-in push here. Kent Johnson, Connor Bedard, Sam Reinhart on the first line. We got Jordan, William Eklund, and Brad Marchand on the second. And then this bottom 6, Lucas Reichel, Jonathan Toews, Tomasino. Yeah, no, this might be it right here. This looks like a Stanley Cup team to me. And then Hyman, he's developed into an 83 overall. What a fantastic deal for us. The defense looks great. Kevin Korchinski, he's picked up a few X factors. He's up to an 88 overall. Seth Jones, he's an 88 as well. And the entire defense here actually looks pretty solid. Lundqvist, I would move you up here, but I don't want that -1 on the third pairing. So you know what? We'll run with this. And then in between the pipes, you already know Jeremy Swayman, Pekka Luukkonen. I think we might be taking home a Stanley Cup this season. And if we can't this year, I can guarantee you we will next season. So right now we're 37, 22, and 5, second in the entire league. And I think we have a real chance at a Stanley Cup. And I think Joel Eriksson might be the missing piece here. We could throw him on the bottom 6 forward lines as our center. They're going to say no to this deal. I'll take the 4th out. Alex Newhook, I completely forgot he's on the team, but we actually have him in the AHL right now because we have so many players that are better than him. So yeah, give me Joel Eriksson. We'll improve our forward core here, and then we'll go get a Stanley Cup. Yeah, so you remember how I said Joel Eriksson was the missing piece for our team? Yeah, it's not quite the case. 13th in the entire league, 43, 31, and 8. I don't know what our record was after the trade deadline, but it definitely wasn't good. It also doesn't help that Connor Bedard came back down to reality. 41 goals, 40 helpers, only 81 points this season. Buddy almost scored as many goals last season as he recorded points this season, so that's not really a good look. Brad Marchand, 81 points. Sam Reinhart, 81. The rest of the team, it was okay. Nothing special though. Meanwhile, Jeremy Swayman did not look good this season. 35 wins, 6 shots, and 899 to 310. I don't think it's possible for us to win a Stanley Cup with those numbers, I'm going to be honest. So I've been hyping up this team saying, oh yeah, we'll compete for a Stanley Cup. Now I'm not too sure about that because we sucked after the trade deadline, so we might win a Stanley Cup this season and we might get swept in the first round. It really could go either way. Yeah, so we didn't necessarily get swept, but we did lose in 5 games. So I'm not too happy about that one. Okay, the Winnipeg Jets might be the greatest team for the next 3 years. Not only did this team repeat back-to-back Stanley Cups, but then they made the Stanley Cup final once again for the 3rd year in a row and lost in 6 games. Honestly, this video has slowly gone from winning Connor Bedard a Stanley Cup to how many Stanley Cup final appearances can the Winnipeg Jets make in a row. Because right now it's 3. And that's 3 too many if you ask me. Also, this entire team sucked during the postseason. Like, Bedard only had 2 points, but then again, Seth Jones was the team leader and he only had 3, so what can you do? So basically, this draft has been absolutely abysmal. Like, there was no good players in it whatsoever, so these picks are going to Calgary for a 3rd rounder next season. So Ekman's being a lot more reasonable this time around, so we can probably get him on a 5-year deal for $6.5 million. What was he asking for before? 1 year at $7 million? Yeah, so we're getting a better deal here. Also, Phillips is going to be signed to a 2-year extension. I think I'm going to be replacing him over Gooley. It's like a 3 overall drop, but he's also like $3 million cheaper. So then we'll ditch Gooley somewhere and free up a couple million. Also, Brad Marchand, you had a fantastic year with us last season, so I wouldn't mind bringing you back on a 1-year deal worth $7 million. I mean, yeah, you are 38 years old. You're getting up there, but you're still producing, so I got no issue with the deal. So I think this season might be our best chance at winning a Stanley Cup because next season, a lot of guys are going to have to get paid. Like Kevin Korchinski here, 4 years. We'll do $7.7 million. Why not? Save a couple bucks here. Jordan's also going to want a bit of a bag, so I'll give him a 5x5. I will say though, when it comes to negotiating contracts, players are way more reasonable in NHL 24. Like in NHL 23, players were asking for stupid amounts. So I will say that makes franchise mode way more enjoyable. This, on the other hand, that's a bit OD. Not gonna lie, Lundqvist, you made me contradict myself. This is wild for an 83 overall. Even Stafford, our medium elite guy, he's an 82 overall and he wants 3 years at 6.3 million. That's way too much, but here's 6 million. I'm just really hoping you develop in the next year or two. If not, that contract's gonna look horrible. So Caden Gooley, you're not really developing how I was hoping. Like, you're an 81 overall, you still have that top 4 potential, but you're 24 years old and I'm overpaying you a lot. So I'm gonna package you up along with a 2nd rounder to get Velarde. He'll help with the bottom 6. It's a bit low for them. We'll throw in a 7th and get this deal done. So here you go, a 2028 7th rounder. That's the difference maker. I want them to fix that though. Like, why are teams saying, oh no, I'm not going to accept this deal, and then I give them a 7th rounder and for some reason that just makes everything work out. Okay, Patty Kane, don't screw me this time around. 6.1 million, a 1-year deal. We got a bunch of extra cap space, so why not? So here we go. Here's the team. Connor Bedard, 95 overall. Sam Reinhart, 88. Brad Marchand, 87. On the 2nd line, Kent Johnson, Eriksson, Patty Kane. The bottom 6 is incredible. I mean, like, there's literally nothing else I can do to improve this team. There's probably a few things, but you know what? We're not going to worry about it. The defense is in a much better position. +1s across the board, except for the 3rd pairing. That's a +2 now. So maybe getting rid of Kane Gooley was the difference maker. And then in between the pipes, can Jeremy Swayman be the guy? Jiro-Pekka Luukkonen backing him up? That's the biggest question I have for this team right now. So the Chicago Blackhawks are absolutely locked in this season. 1st in the entire league, 59, 18, and 5, averaging 4 goals a game, only allowing 2.79. This team was different this season. And you want to know what the main difference was between last season and this season? a different head coach. I changed the head coach during the offseason, and this is what happened. Connor Bedard, it's an incredible season for you. 96 points, 47 goals, 49 helpers. Brad Marchand, 32 goals, 57 assists, 89 points. The whole team was looking fantastic all around. And you know who else was looking fantastic? Jeremy Swayman. I tried to trade you, I'm not even gonna lie. 45 wins, 8 shots, a 913 and a 269. And the backup, Juuso-Pekka Luukkonen, 14 wins, 3 losses, 2 shutouts. No, we're winning a Stanley Cup this season, that's a fact. But we also have to remember, I've been saying that for the past 3 seasons now, so who really knows what's going to happen? But we're taking on the Winnipeg Jets in the first round. All I know is if we can get past Winnipeg, we're guaranteed the Stanley Cup final. So the Winnipeg series just went to 5 games, but the most impressive thing about it, 3 of them were shutouts. A 3-0 win, a 4-0 win, and a 2-0 win. The other win we had, 3-1. This team's playing elite defense at an unseen level. So after that dominant performance, we're moving on to the second round to take on the Minnesota Wild. But if we can take down the Winnipeg Jets, then no one can stop us. So right now, things are looking pretty solid for the team. We have a 3-2 series lead, so game 6 is going to be a big one. We're going to take that, and now we're off to the conference finals, and you can see already we're taking on the Calgary Flames. And in the Eastern Conference Finals, who do we have? We got the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Buffalo Sabres. Similar to the Minnesota series, once again we have a 3-2 series lead, so game 6, this is going to be a do or die for us. Well, not really, because we're going to be taking that one. We're off to the Stanley Cup final, and now we just have to wait and see who we're taking on, because right now Pittsburgh and Buffalo, that's tied 3-3. So we've reached the Stanley Cup final, and the Pittsburgh Penguins were able to take out the Buffalo Sabres somehow, so that's who Connor Bedard's going to be taking on. Connor Bedard versus Sidney Crosby, the young versus the old. This is a fantastic matchup for Connor Bedard to win his first Stanley Cup. And in by far the most important series of the video, Chicago was absolutely dominating, a 3-1 series lead, and in game 5 they're going to close out with a 2-1 overtime win, and the Chicago Blackhawks are Stanley Cup champions, and that means Connor Bedard's a Stanley Cup champ. But leading the way in the postseason wasn't actually Connor Bedard, although he had a fantastic postseason. 9 goals, 14 assists, 23 points. It was actually Brad Marchand out of all players, 15 goals, 15 helpers, 30 points. Thank God we kept this guy around. And Sam Reinhart, that was an amazing signing for us. 28 points, he held it down. This team's looking fantastic, and they're Stanley Cup champions once again.